Okay, so today we're going to talk about ashwagandha and how to best take it. Ashwagandha is a plant from Ayurveda. It's medicinally used in Ayurveda, and it's the root of a plant that is actually from the potato family. It's from the Solanaceae family, and the part of the plant that is used is the root. And it's usually in Ayurveda, traditionally, it's just the dried root ground to a powder, and they take it as a powder, like you can see here. This is my ashwagandha powder. And so you would just take the powder. A teaspoon is about 3 to 5 grams maybe, and a tablespoon is maybe 10 to 14 grams, depends how full you make it. So this is about 10 grams maybe. And you would just stir this powder. In Ayurveda, they traditionally stir it into milk, because in Ayurveda they like to combine. It's a nourishing building herb. And milk is also nourishing and building. So they combine this and make, for example, a hot milk with the ashwagandha powder in it, and you can put some sweetener in it, or some other herbs to change the flavor up a bit. So this would be the traditional way to take it. You can, of course, just put it in water or stir it into some applesauce or something. Actually, the best way to mask the flavor really is like a milky substance. I mean, if you cringe when I say full-fat Greek yogurt, I understand, but this masks the flavor just perfectly. It enrobes the herb and kind of masks it. I mean, it doesn't taste too bad, but it's also not like super delicious. So yeah, you could use some yogurt. You can use some, of course, also plant-based milk, or yogurts that are not milk-based, or find something like that. That would be an ideal way to take it. Yeah. So Ayurveda has never tinctured herbs. So if you see that now in the market there are certain tinctures that are ashwagandha tinctures, you might think, oh, then maybe that's easier. I just put like a couple of drops into a glass of water. It's easy to take, and why not try it? Yeah, I tell you why not to try that. So we don't actually know how to extract ashwagandha in alcohol. There is no research about it, in which percentage of alcohol it extracts best. So alcohol might not be the best extraction method for ashwagandha. And there's also a second reason, even if we would have figured this out, or maybe somebody has figured this out, who knows, but the problem is the dose. Yeah, so if you have like a 1 ounce bottle, I mean, this I think is 3 ounces, 100 milliliters, you have very little actual ashwagandha in there. Yeah, as you have maybe the equivalent to, I don't know, 20 grams, 30 grams. You could do the math. On the bottle it says the ratio between alcohol and the actual herb. So usually we have something like maybe just 2-3 tablespoons of ashwagandha powder in a whole bottle of tincture. Yeah, and the dose is pretty high with ashwagandha. Yeah, it's not very useful to take just a gram or half a gram per day. You would not notice any effect, honestly. Yeah, the way how they use it in Ayurveda is, or you take it from puberty on. Yeah, this is an herb that's not given to children. Yeah, it's given from the onset of puberty, and then you can take a couple of grams every day, like between 1 to 5 grams a day, like a teaspoon or half a teaspoon, and you would take this for the rest of your life. Yeah, it's a tonifying herb that prevents things going wrong in your body, that gives you energy, that regulates the immune system, hormonal balance, gives you more stamina, more energy, is good for libido, is good for against anxiety, regulates the sleep rhythm. So it has lots of benefits, and if you take it early in your life and you take a couple of grams a day, you might be totally fine and never need a higher dose. But most people that I talk to, or that are my clients that consult with me one-on-one, they are already in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and they have lots of health issues, from not sleeping to high anxiety, lots of stress, hormonal imbalances, immune imbalances. So in that case, we won't get any noticeable effect by taking just 1 gram a day. Yeah, honestly, the dose I most work with is 20 grams a day. Yeah, that's what I mean, we can start with 10 grams and work our way up slowly. Of course, we should always work our way up slowly. Yeah, you would not take like the first day 20 grams of ashwagandha. Yeah, you take half a teaspoon. The next day you take a teaspoon, or for a couple of days you would take half a teaspoon and then slowly work up so you get also used to the herb and see what it does in your body. But honestly, ashwagandha, the effect, it's not slow acting. You would have to take a considerable dose of ashwagandha for at least 2 to 3 weeks until you notice anything. Yeah, and you should notice something. You know, it makes really feelable your energy better, and it can totally stop anxiety if you take enough. Yeah, it can regulate your sleep rhythm. This takes maybe even a bit longer than just 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, so what you would notice after 2 to 3 weeks is maybe that you have more energy, more stamina, that you're in a better mood, that your anxiety is gone, things like that. But you would have to take 20 grams a day for at least 2 to 3 weeks until you notice that. Yeah. So there we come to another form of taking it, capsules. In one capsule like this, guess how much ashwagandha fits in there? Half a gram. Yeah, so if you have to take 20 grams a day, you would have to swallow 40 capsules a day. You can totally do that. Yeah, it's a bit expensive, or you have to buy the herb by the pound and encapsulate it yourself. Then you get a bit better price. And you can totally do it. You can, of course, spread out those 30 to 40 capsules over the day and take like some in the morning, some around midday, some before going to bed. The time of the day is not important with ashwagandha. Yeah, it's not an herb, even if it does work on sleep and regulating the natural sleep cycle. So it helps with insomnia and actually can treat insomnia. But it's not something you have to take half an hour before going to bed or something. It's not working right away. You know, it works after 2 to 3 weeks, and no matter what time of day you take it. Yeah, you can usually, I recommend actually take most of the things you would take together with food, like before a meal, during a meal, after a meal. So you just digest it together with your food, so you do not have any strange tastes when you burp coming up from the herb or something. You know, it's just you digest it better. It goes down, it sits well in the stomach if you have it with a meal. You avoid kind of some inconveniences that the herb could cause or something. So it doesn't matter if you take it right in the morning with your breakfast or whenever you feel like, okay, this is a good time for me to take it, to remember taking it. And yeah, remember, so this is the important thing. So I see people, you know, recommending capsules, ashwagandha in capsules. And, you know, a bottle like this costs, I don't know, $20, 15 euros, I don't know. It's expensive. And there are 60, 90, 120 capsules in it. So if you take 20 capsules a day, it's very expensive. So it's not really viable. And you might think, but what if they put an extract in this capsule? What if they concentrated it? And yes, they actually do this sometimes. I mean, sometimes you really just see that they put straight ashwagandha powder, not concentrated in any way. It's not an extract in a capsule, and it's really just half a gram of ashwagandha. Yeah, and you can buy a whole kilo or a pound or whatever, 2 pounds for, I don't know, $40 maybe for 2 pounds. So it's way more, you get a lot more out of it if you buy it by the pound and as a powder than in capsules. Yeah. So some do put an extract in those capsules. Often it is mixed. It is ashwagandha powder and part of it is an extract. So it is a bit tricky to figure out how much you are actually taking or getting. If it's, for example, a 10-to-1 extract, that means they took 10 grams or 10 kilos or whatever of the ashwagandha, and out of 10 grams they make 1 gram of extract, and they have, in the best of the cases, it's a full spectrum extract, which means they have not taken anything out of the active constituents, which is the medicine, the plant chemicals that we want to take. They have not isolated like only one of these plant chemicals and discarded the rest. They have just taken the fiber out. Yeah, so by taking the fiber out, or making a decoction of the herb and then drying this up or somehow freeze drying it or this or that. I mean, there are several methods, extraction methods, so don't have to get into that so deeply. But if it's just concentrated ashwagandha, let's say this is half a gram, but it's 10 times concentrated, so it's the equivalent of 5 grams of ashwagandha. Okay, yeah, then we can talk. Yeah, I have yet not found any supplement that has really such a high concentrated ashwagandha capsule. Sometimes they put a little bit of a like 5-to-1 extract in it, and then the rest is ashwagandha powder. So still you would have to take 20 capsules to, or 15 or something, to get to your 20-25 grams that you want to take every day. So capsules, forget it. Okay, you are wasting your money. You're buying like an expensive bottle for a lot of money and getting the equivalent. Yeah, I'm really talking, you get the equivalent of 1 tablespoon maybe in the whole bottle or something, or a couple of tablespoons in the whole bottle. Yeah, and your daily dose is 2 full tablespoons. Yeah, so it's difficult. No, or yeah, okay, maybe you get like 10 tablespoons in a bottle or something. Yeah, so in a tincture bottle, it's sometimes there is, if it's a 1 ounce bottle, there is not even 20 grams in the whole bottle. Yeah, so with tincture you don't go very far. Yeah, apart from that, we don't know if those constituents are well extracted in the alcohol. So you can make a water extraction, which is a fancy word for just a tea or a decoction in this case. Yeah, you could decoct the powder. Yeah, so you can actually use the powder. Yeah, let's say your 20 grams, your 2 full heaping tablespoons of ashwagandha powder. Put them into hot water and boil them for a while in hot water, like 10 minutes, and you get a nice strong tea. And that, yes, that is going to work. That you can do that, but the flavor comes out a lot. No? So actually, if you take it as a powder, you get a bit less of this very strong. It's not a very strong or very bad taste, but definitely the water brings out more the taste of the ashwagandha, and maybe you don't want it, but try it out. You can also buy, instead of buying powder, you can buy the root pieces. I mean, generally, of course, it's better to not buy ground herbs. Yeah, I normally I would always prefer having the root pieces and then maybe grind them up myself. But with ashwagandha, it's just such a traditional method of taking it. It seems to conserve pretty well as a powder, as opposed to, if you pre-grind black pepper. Of course, it loses the smell really quickly. It has essential oils that evaporate, and we lose the qualities of the black pepper that we want. But with ashwagandha, it's a root that doesn't have like many essential oils or volatile compounds that just go up into the air and disappear out of the powder once it's ground. It actually seems to keep pretty well. So it always depends on the herb if we want it as a whole herb, as whole as possible, and then maybe we grind it ourselves or make it a decoction, or we can absolutely buy it as a powder, and it's no problem, no storage problems, as long as you keep it. I fill my powder into some jar with a lid or something. It usually comes in just a brown paper bag. It's not important the brand. Ashwagandha, it grows in India. It comes from India or somewhere from tropical climate, and there are not such huge quality differences from batch to batch. I mean, if there are, you notice it. You are like, okay, of this batch, maybe I have to take 25 grams and not 20. So that's also not a big issue. So there's not a brand that I can recommend or something. I must say it has to be grown in tropical climate. So you would really buy this from India and not... you can't grow it in Europe or in a temperate climate, because we have to assume, those plants, they produce those plant chemicals that we want to take. They produce it for themselves, of course, in the first line. So those are plant chemicals that are in this plant, so the plant can resist the extreme temperatures, the heat, the cold, this case the heat, that they can defend themselves against bugs and pathogens and bacteria and fungi and everything that's likely to attack the plant. So they create those constituents in this environment where they are growing, in a very hot environment in this case, for example, or hot and dry environment actually. So we cannot assume that the plant produces those same plant chemicals in a temperate climate. This is likely not the case. So we cannot grow ashwagandha in any other climate. So yeah, get your ashwagandha, definitely buy it by the pound as powder. Don't waste your money on tinctures. They are on the market because they do sell. Yeah, and you can, experiment with ashwagandha in this kind of 10 drops and energetic way or whatever, but it's not going to give you the real benefit of the herb as described in Ayurveda and how it was always used in Ayurveda. Also, don't waste your money on expensive supplements in capsule form. Yeah, forget this, because this is 0.5 gram, and even if it's a bit concentrated, if it's an extract, you would have to take 20 capsules a day or something like that. So this is also not worth the money. Yeah, so buy it as a powder. And then I'm just going to repeat, I told you already, you can always measure it, of course, with a little scale or something. Yeah, a normal kitchen scale maybe can't measure out 1 gram or 5, but maybe 20 grams. But this is about the dose, a dose of 10 to 14 grams. Yeah, so you take maybe 2 of those, you have a good, nice dose, and you slowly work up to this, you know. Just start like with 1/2 teaspoon the first day, so get used to the taste, you get used to the way of taking it. You know, if you take, nothing bad would happen, you know. I mean, you can take 2 tablespoons of ashwagandha the first day, and you're not going to have an immediate effect in your body, honestly. Yeah, it really takes 2 to 3 weeks to saturate the body, and then you start to get the effect that you want. Yeah, nothing bad's going to happen, but maybe you're going to be overwhelmed, like, about the taste or the way how to take it. So just get used to it slowly and try out how you like it best. Yeah, maybe stir it into some yogurt, just drop it into your mouth and drink some water after it. You can try that, or yeah, stir it into some plant milk or something. So there are many ways you can put it into a sweet drink. Yeah, you could make like a nice little chocolate milk, plant-based chocolate or carob, or with some honey, some sweetener. Beetroot juice actually also covers up nicely the taste of many herbs. So you could mix some beetroot and chocolate and hot water and honey. Oh yeah, that I like that. So yeah, get creative and make yourself a nice ashwagandha hot drink or smoothie or whatever. Yeah, so that would be the way of choice to take it. Yeah, and make sure you take enough. And my experience, you know, it's actually like, if I start with 10 grams, then I see the client again after a month, like, please take 20 grams, you know. You're still not sleeping well, you still have anxiety, take the 20 grams, yeah, to really feel the effect. It's really noticeable. And I mean, even it could be 30 grams. In Ayurveda, actually, the dose is between 10 and 60 grams. Yeah, so this is not a high dose at all if we compare it in Ayurveda. Yeah, it's a high dose in our mind, because, you know, if we're used to taking 1 capsule a day or 2 capsules a day, but this does not work with ashwagandha. Yeah, so yeah, that's basically the important things about ashwagandha. So yeah, try it out. As I said, I mean, I could make a whole new episode about the benefits of ashwagandha. It's really yeah, it's an amazing herb, but it's basically regulates immune system, hormonal balance, yeah, everything. It's excellent for thyroid and for fatigue, for many kinds of issues. It helps with severe anxiety. Yeah, you can really feel a noticeable effect on your anxiety. It regulates sleep patterns. So that would be this would be the main like areas. Yeah, it's really a broad spectrum herb that's yeah, good for men and women in midlife, I would say. Yeah, to regulate several of those common health problems in that age. Okay, yeah, I hope that helped you, and yeah, give me some feedback, send me a comment, and yeah, see you next time. Ciao.